Hello, it's Jenna New following up with the Planet Challenge with 11 Event 11 and Mighty Messer. And we're at Mars right now. And I came up with Archangel for Mars, which I think is pretty cool as an exact match considering he is considered the protector. He also had Fault, and you can look at that a couple of different ways as either a divide, which, if he's the god of war, well, there's divide there, or in the case of a fault line or fault with somebody. So you can take it any way you like. He also had Mars also has a half match for Clinton Paschota, which is a descendant of Magog. He's a match for Man, and Ravine, which in this case is I use the Ravine from is another just divide, and also Spirit, which you can say, well, you need Spirit to be able to be the aspects of the male war god. Anyway, Mars and Aries are the same. One's Greek, one's Roman, and Mars is the only one that actually sits in its own translation. Mars and Aries. So that's kind of a neat little thing. Out of all the zodiac, it's the only one that does. Um, Aries has exact matches of Rabbit and Gem. Half matches include 432 Hertz, which is really cool. The Demiurge, Jehovah, that's interesting. Ether and Warren. The sign for Aries is the Ram, of course, and the Ram has matches to the Atom, Bush, Cube, Child, Open, River, and Organite. And the Organite will make sense as I get into the alchemy. The interesting thing about the RAM is the 5775 first half of the code, and 5775 is the on the Hebrew calendar year. Will begin at sunset on the 24th of September 2014 and end on the 13th September 2015. So you have a celebration of the Ram next year. So, well, anyway. Of course, here's the symbol, which is pretty straightforward. It's definitely phallic. um, the zodiacal archetype includes adventurous, energetic, pioneering, courageous, enthusiastic, confident. All of those really neat, good male aspects. And then, of course, you also have the dark side, which is the selfish, quick tempered, impulsive, impatient, foolhardy daredevil. Um, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and is a fire sign, but it's considered the immature of the three fire signs. You have Leo and also Sagittarius, and it goes up in range. So you're more impetuous and jump to the quick as an Aries than you would be, say, a Leo or a Sagittarius. One can consider Aries being the first of the zodiac sign, also being kind of the fool in the fool's journey in the tarot deck, because he's just starting his journey as a young man, full of cum and full of dumb, or whatever they say. So, anyway, that's just your typical. But on the other hand, you can look at Aries as being not the father figure so much because that lies with his father Jupiter, but more the husband, lover, 20 to 40-year-old, somewhere in there, provider and protector, and I like that in an Aries. Let's see. Now on to the alchemical. Um, that The red planet Mars consists of iron, which gives it the red hue. Earth and Mars are the only two planets that have iron, and thus they're connected, one can say, magnetically. Of the seven metals, iron is the one that burns, and thus the Aries is associated with Mars, iron, and also fire. Falling stars is a burning iron. Meteorite burns brightly as it falls through the atmosphere. Thereby one experiences the fiery energy of Mars is through this. As copper and iron are bound together in the earth, with most copper ores bound up with iron, as copper and iron interact in the blood, copper helping the iron metabolism, so Mars and Venus were mutually attracted. One sees this in the principle of the dynamo, where an iron-copper interaction takes place to produce a throbbing pulse of electrical energy, which is pretty cool when you consider that Mars and Venus, or Aphrodite and Aries, were passionate lovers from opposite poles, the total feminine and the total male package together. Fiery energy for sure. I have this picture here I did a long time ago, and it was based off of something somebody had mentioned to me. And as I was talking about Venus, I mentioned that Venus was the spawn of Uranus and Earth. That's Uranus's semen falling to the Earth's oceans, and they spawned Aphrodite, Venus. And there's this love relationship and a protectorship relationship that goes between this Mars-Venus connection because of the fact that they were lovers, and their good deed together was to protect Mother. And of course, Mother is Gaia, Mother is Earth. So I do kind of say, like a little intention, I invoke the powers of Mars and Venus to care for and protect Gaia and all her children. And I say my heart is free. The reason for that is because there was an unequivocal love, passion between these three particular planets in mythology. One is anemic if one lacks iron in his blood, or equally it may refer to the lack of Mars attributes in the character, which are strength, courage, and will. Now, homeopathically, I can see this happening, but it would be too much for me to explain and go into the whole psychopathy of people at this point. Let's see, moving on. As the smith forged iron with his hammer and his anvil, so the development of the blast furnace requires control over the fire process. Iron has been closely involved with human history, as it gave men the power to dominate nature, which is a total Mars-Aries attribute. The true Iron Age, led mainly by the peoples of the West, arises creatures of iron and steel. Iron is harnessed to purely material goals. The shackles by which man has enslaved nature are forged of iron, and this is so very true. All wars have been fought with guns and swords and axe heads and that kind of thing, all made of iron. The Mars metal iron unleashes masculine power. For the history of warfare, the development of hardened steel was pivotal, and this today is the element from which all weapons are made. Today we live surrounded by iron and steel, and within this we will find no cure for the rising tide of violence. We might, however, note the mystery of iron. Yes, iron has got a mystery. A few percent of carbons turn iron into steel, and reminds us of iron's strong connection with the earth carbon, and the earth element makes all the difference to iron, giving to it the awful strength of steel. And this is pretty neat. It's very strong and direct. There's no turning lead into gold in this one. This one is just telling you how it is to enjoy this energy. And this energy is associated with your solar plexus chakra, and that's your power center. So the big thing here is learning how to deal with that power center without killing everything and everybody. But it's a strength and a force to reckon with, and has a beautiful side to it if you can master it. This is my presentation for tonight. I did want to mention to Lavette that you were talking about, I had mentioned Muad'Dib from the movie Dune, and Muad'Dib was the Aries character, one that transcended to his higher masculine form, and it's always stuck with me. I absolutely love the movie and the message. Anyway, y'all have a beautiful evening. Love you. Anu.